Welcome to Airgun Extra, brought to you in association with Crackshot, the Southwest's premier airgun centre and ranges. In this week's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the new FX DRS Mach II. But before that, we're joining Rich Saunders, targeting rabbits by day and by night.
Well, that one's a little too far for me, but there's plenty more around in the paddocks. I'm on the horse paddocks again this evening. As I said before, rabbits are most unwelcome down here because of the holes and the scrapes that they dig in the ground and the danger that that poses to horses if they put a leg down one of the holes. Very quickly, because I did spot some rabbits on the way in when I drove in, and I do want to try and get a few before it gets too dark. I'm using a Weihrauch HW100X. It's the laminate sporter stock model, incredibly accurate, especially with a 10.4 grain JTS dead center takedown pellets. And thanks to this new model, it has a bigger air cylinder, can take a higher fill pressure as well, and a new regulator. So there's lots of shot count, nearly double the shot count of the old model. On top is a Hikmicro Alpex Pro scope. It's a digital day-night scope, and thanks to a 4512 by 2512 sensor, the image quality in both day and night with an IR torch is really clear. And it also has an inbuilt laser rangefinder and ballistic calculator too. And holding all of that together is a set of sports match scope mounts. So I just came round this corner here into the first paddock, peeked around the bushes, and I could see a rabbit. I think he spotted me as well, but I managed to sneak into position and pop my beanbag on the fence there. And he's a little bit more than what I usually like to shoot, a 177 12 foot pound, about 43 meters I think. But the Alpex Pro ballistic calculator worked out the holdover for me and dropped it nice and clean. I'm going to leave him there and just hang around here for a little while, because I think there might be another rabbit comes out before too long. I left my beanbag on the fence, so I just need to sneak around the corner. Well, that worked out quite well. I had to wait 10 to 15 minutes behind the bush, but peeked around the corner and saw another one, and he was in almost exactly the same position as that first one. Same sort of holdover as well. I can see another rabbit on the next paddock down, so I'm going to have a little wander over there and hopefully get another shot. Well, that was another one at 43 metres, and once again the Alpex Pro ballistic calculator worked its magic. I had to be a little bit quick though, because Tina Turner, the Shetland pony in here, was coming over, and I could just saw him at the corner of my eye, and had to get the shot off pretty quickly. I think he's after his carrot. Here's a good boy. Here's a good boy. And there's another one on the other side of the lane. Well, I'll be honest, that one at 47 metres was a little bit further than I like to take a shot with a sub 12 foot-pound air rifle. But I practice an awful lot with this rifle and this scope. The wind has dropped now, which is really helpful, and I've got a nice stable position on top of this beanbag on the fence, and that combined with the laser rangefinder and the ballistic calculator meant I was quite happy to take that shot, and it dropped really cleanly as well. So the light is just starting to go now, and I've picked one of my favourite spots on this permission. I've got this shed behind me as a bit of backdrop, and I'm just going to wait it out basically in the hope that a rabbit pops out along the hedgerow until it gets dark. Then I'll nip back to the truck, put the IR torch on, and get ready for a little bit of night shooting. Well, the light's starting to fade now, and that one was a little bit closer, about 25 metres I think, so the scope gave just a little hint of holdover, I think. It looks smaller than the other ones tonight, probably half grown, but the trouble is on paddocks they grow into full grown rabbits, and you can't afford any kind of sentimentality, and they've all got to go. They make good eating as well. But it's almost fully dark now, and although the Alpex Pro has a really good low light colour mode, when it gets fully dark you have to swap over to the night vision infrared mode. So what I've done is I've just popped on an IR torch. This is a PB-IR, a Paul Baker IR torch, which is great in the dark, it really, really is. And I'm also using my Hikmicro Weihrauch thermal binoculars as well. So before I get started, I just want to give you a sense of what the Hikmicro Alpex Pro is like at long distance. Now those trees there are 200 metres away, which is about the furthest I can get on this permission, and you can see what the image quality is like. I just wish I could have conjured up a fox or a deer or something with a pulse to show you what it's like at that sort of distance. Right. Right. We'll have to wait quite a while there for him to just move clear of the fence on the other side of the paddock there. Another shot of around about 42-43 metres, I think. But looked like he went down nice and clean, so I'll go and get him in a minute. Well, I managed to spot that one. He looked like he was over a little bit of a brow of a little hill, a little bump in the field. But I managed to get the laser rangefinder on him and yeah, dropped him nice and clean again. Well, I've had a good look round and I can't see any more rabbits now. It's not the biggest permission in the world, and to be honest, you know, once you have one pass through the place and you either shoot the rabbits or scare them away, then they're gone and that's it for the night. Now, it just so happens that most of my shots, if not all of the shots tonight, have come at sort of 40 metres or just a little bit more, which, as I said before, is a little bit beyond my comfortable maximum distance for a sub 12 foot-pound air rifle. But fortunately, the wind has completely died away. It's as still as anything now, and I've been able to use the fence of my beanbag to get a really stable shooting position, and the combination of the accuracy of the HW100X and the Hikmicro Alpex Pro with the laser rangefinder and the ballistic calculator has been spot on, and they've all been really clean kills tonight, which I'm really pleased with. So I'm going to call it a night, go and pick up those rabbits, and they'll be off to the Falconry Centre in the morning. Thanks very much for watching.
Don't forget to give us a follow on the Airgun Extra Facebook page so you can keep up with everything that we're up to. Right then, next up, let's take a look at the FX DRS Mach II. Right, well, here is a gun that I've been really excited about putting to the test. It's the FX DRS Mach II. Now, this is the compact version of the classic synthetic model, and it has a recommended retail price of £789.99. And what I can say is that if this gun is half as good as the DRS Mach I that I've been using for the past couple of years, then that represents brilliant value for money. Kicking off with the basic stuff, you can see that this model has a fairly classic sporter style to it. Now there are also tactical and pro variants available. So this one weighs 2.2 kilos unscoped and measures up at 840 millimeters in length. Now those proportions make for a pretty compact airgun that handles really nicely, and on top of that it really is no burden to carry around the fields on longer roving sessions. The DRS Mach II Classic is available in a walnut stock option, as well as the stunning red line laminate, which looks absolutely amazing. So what I have here is the ambidextrous synthetic stock, which I believe is the same as on the Mark I. Now, it's a real tough workhorse of a stock, which I think should stand up really well to the rough and tumble of shooting for pest control. It's a very nicely designed stock, and I really like the profile of the forend. Now, although there is no stippling on this version, the finish of the surface is still very, very grippy. So, moving back to the pistol grip, it's got a nice sweep that delivers good trigger attack. It's also got nice deep scallop on both sides that really swallows up the base of your thumb, and it just makes for comfortable shooting whether you're shooting thumb up or thumb around. The cheek piece is very clearly defined, and it's got a nice high profile which ensures good eye scope alignment. So the butt of the stock is finished with a fairly basic rubber pad, but it's nice and squashy and really grips to your shoulder when you've got the gun mounted. This is a very tidy looking airgun, and the finish of the metalwork is immaculate throughout, and if my Mark I is anything to go by, it should stand up to pretty heavy use. So staying with the subject of engineering, the DRS Mark II is equipped with a Picatinny scope rail, which I think shooters are going to really appreciate. It's 30 MOA and it provides about 180 millimeters of clamping space, which is a fair bit more than the Mark I. Most of you will know about the DRS's innovative air cylinder, which is actually wrapped around the barrel. Now that improves barrel rigidity and also just results in a really sleek looking airgun. Now it's got a 1/2 inch UNF thread for silencer attachment, and there are numerous different barrel length options. There's a 500mm and a 600mm, and I believe there's also a 700mm barrel option for high power FAC rated models. Now, one of the key refinements on the Mark II is that you can now change between different barrel liners without having to degas the gun first. So this gun runs a magazine fed action, and the supplied magazine holds 14 pellets or slugs in 2.2 calibre. That's got a nice low profile, and I believe this gun will also accept the higher capacity magazine. So calibre options include 177, .20, 22 and .25, and high power FAC models are now available up to .30 calibre. Now the magazine is nice and easy to load, and I know from experience that it is very kind to pellets. The magazine is driven by a side lever action which can't be reversed for left-handers. Now it features a nice grooved biathlon type drop down handle, and I don't know whether it has been refined for the Mark II, but the cycle does feel smoother than on my Mark I. The result is quick, slick reloading with the reassurance that you've always got quick follow-up shots at the ready. The trigger on the review gun is absolutely brilliant. Again, I'm not sure if it's been refined, but it certainly features a different blade from on my Mark I. Now you don't have the height and angle adjustment on this blade, but to be fair, it still feels perfectly comfortable. Now I've tested this trigger as per usual straight out of the box, and I've got to say, for me, it's set up absolutely brilliantly. First stage weight and travel are quite positive, but they come to a really clear stop before the second stage brake, which is crisp, creep-free and absolutely intuitive. You still get quite a basic safety catch, but it does what it needs to do. It's nicely positioned, it's quiet in operation, and it does feel a little bit more positive than the one on my Mark I. So you draw it back to put it into the safe position and then push it forwards into the fire position when you're ready to take the shot. The DRS Mach II is stated as having improved airflow efficiency, though I think the biggest gains are going to be for the high power FAC shooters. Now, they are also going to get an improved power plenum, and that should provide a real boost when it comes to really cranking up the muzzle energy when you're using very heavy ammo. Don't be fooled though, the sub 12 model is still a very slick performer, and it's equipped with an AMP Mark II regulator. This one is running at about 11.5 foot-pounds, and shot-to-shot deviation over a 10-shot string is remaining within 7 feet per second. So the pressure within that wraparound cylinder is displayed on the gauge on the left-hand side of the stock at the rear of the barrel. Maximum fill pressure is 230 bar. Now, I've not actually got around to testing shots per fill yet because I've just been giving the gun top-up charges on the range, but I'm told that it should return in the ballpark of 140 shots from a full charge. Now, given that this gun's got a relatively short barrel and quite a small cylinder, that is pretty impressive. So for refilling, the inlet is positioned on the left-hand side of the stock, close to that gauge that I've just mentioned, and there's still no plug for it, and I know a lot of shooters would appreciate that just for peace of mind. Now, when it is time to refill, you simply take the supplied quick fill probe, plug it into that inlet. I've been very happy with the accuracy from my DRS Mark I, so I had high hopes for this airgun. I wasn't disappointed, and I would go as far as to say that it's actually better. So, the superior STX barrel and consistent power output are resulting in pellets travelling downrange very accurately. At 30 metres, it's single holing from the bench, as you would expect, and it's still single holing at 40 metres, although a little bit more raggedly. In windless conditions, shooting from the support of the bench, this gun is still grouping very, very tightly. So there you have the FX DRS Mark II. Now, I've got to say that the refinements on the whole are quite subtle, but ultimately they make a good airgun even better. Now, as I've said, there are numerous different variants of the DRS, so do check out the rest of them. The standout feature for me is value for money, particularly on this model. It really does have to be one of the most affordable, high quality airguns out there.
The Great British Shooting Show hits the NEC Birmingham from the 12th to the 14th of February 2027, the UK's biggest and best shooting event. Buy tickets online today.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this week, but stay tuned because we have got loads more coming. Thanks again to Crackshot. There is a link to their website in the description, and thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back with more very soon. Until then, enjoy your shooting and stay safe.